Lady Roxy proceeds to the gate in a new attire. Fate fails to recognize her and questions her identity. When she turns back to confront him, he realizes that it's Roxy. She reveals that she's going on a secret inspection in the town, which is why she has disguised herself. As Fate is about to go away to get back to his work, she stops him and asks if he can accompany her to the town, to which he agrees. As they wander along in town, Fate addresses her as Roxy, but she starts scolding him and suggests that he calls her Lexi, which is the name for that day. She also asks him to keep his sword clean like any other holy knight. He thinks of the gluttony skill, which once activated will surely resonate with one's soul and, if not fed well, will devour one's soul, and the idea of not letting her know about it crossed his mind again. He attempts to drop the sword on the ground, but she picks it up even before it reaches the ground. She has never witnessed his sword closely, and after picking it up and taking a closer look, Roxy realizes that Fate has not taken care of it at all. She suggests that they leave it at a swordsmith's shop for polishing. Following this, they go straight into the market where they see some fine grapes and even taste some of them. Upon inquiring about them, the shopkeeper reveals that they are harvested from the Heart's Vine. Hearing this, Roxy starts shouting that it's her hometown. Fate's sword suggests that they cover it up by saying that their people are working there. This somewhat convinces the shopkeeper that they are not some local thugs pretending to be big shots. At this time, a holy knight enters the market, and the whole crowd paves the way for him while he walks through the market. Just then, Fate mumbles something, and this catches the attention of the holy knight. He inquires about the one who made this noise because he considered it as disrespect. He walks straight to Fate, who is still in disguise, and orders him to apologize. Even though Fate is hesitant, he keeps apologizing to the holy knight, and when it becomes unbearable for Lady Roxy, she orders the holy knight to stop. This makes everyone realize who she is, and they have to make some weird excuses about being lovers and manage to get away. They continue their inspection and wander off to a place where they are selling gems. Lady Roxy looks at the lovely and shining ones and wishes to buy them. However, she doesn't have any reason to do so and instead drops the gems on the ground. On their way through the street, they come across some men who are talking about a new monster who has been ravaging the town and is dropping goblin ears. Lady Roxy approaches the men and asks them if they can give her more information about it. The men suggest that she hire some warriors since they are ones with most information about this. She faces Fate and asks him to take her to a place where there are many warriors. This contradicts the fact that her inspection is based on the monster warrior who is just untied in the area, and, funny enough, it's Fate. Fate takes her to a restaurant where he used to venture, and there they meet a man who serves them some food and also tells them about a warrior who kills goblin corpses. The man reveals that he came across a mountain of goblin corpses with their ears still intact when he went out hunting. Hearing this, Roxy comments that a warrior would seek to cash in on the bounty, and if it's not that, then there might be a wandering monster that has migrated from another region. The man asserts that it is bad for their business and further explains that whether one is headed out for stock or is going to the capital to sell, he has to pass through the goblin plains. However, if there's some mysterious creature on the prowl, people won't want to travel. No one wants to die after all. While they are still discussing this, Old Ad comes in to meet them and join the discussion. He explains to them that there is a popular theory that the roaming monster is a lich, which is why the Holy Knights will be taking direct action to deal with it. To clarify himself, he tells them that a warrior friend of his own told him, and it's certain. With his stats just refreshed, Fate realizes that if Lady Roxy joins the hunting party and sees him, he will be done for. Old Ad inquires about their obsession with the goblin hunter, but Roxy is unable to answer this. In the meantime, some warriors come barging into the restaurant. As the traveling warriors sit down to eat, one of them approaches Lady Roxy. Since she is disguised, he fails to recognize her and touches her shoulder. He pleads her to join them and have some fun. While Fate tries to stop the warrior, Lady Roxy pushes the man away with her palm. This shocks the warriors as they realize that only a holy knight can perform such skills. They discover that it's Lady Roxy and start begging her to forgive them. They even try to bribe her with money, but she refuses. She tells them that she deeply regrets the fact that the warriors assigned to protect the people are even worse than the real threat and feels ashamed. She further continues that holy knights exist to protect people, in a world where they could laugh aside the kingdom's subjects was her father's dream which she shares. Fate wonders that if that dream comes true, he will always follow her. Following all this, Fate and Lady Roxy go to the Heart's blacksmith, who helps him polish his sword to a very shiny and fantastic one. They leave the blacksmith shop, and on their way back, she expresses her gratitude for guiding her about the wandering monster. Fate, however, is shocked at the fact that Roxy was unaware about the hunt and inquires about it. She explains that the Blerical family is heading up the effort and didn't intend to inform her. As they keep going, they hear the voice of a young boy shouting for help and also recognize Hato's voice along with other voices. Upon following the voices, they come across some holy knights who are holding a young boy full of fear. It is a shock for Lady Roxy to see that Memil is also among them. She orders Fate to evict the boy from them and questions why Raffle hadn't informed her about the roaming monster. He replies by stating that they thought she might be filled with the thought of her father, and with no further discussion, they leave her with a disgusted look at Fate. The boy they rescue tells them that he hates Holy Knight while they try to correct him. They question his reason for wandering alone, to which he replies by stating that he is looking for his lost mother. With no other option left, they offer to help him look for his mother. This makes Fate remember the time he got lost following his father's death. He wonders what happened to the Holy Knight who looked after him back then. After some time, he suggests that they stop looking for his mother today, while Lady Roxy offers him to stay with them, so they can continue their search following morning. Suddenly, they hear someone calling out to Leo, and it turns out to be the boy's mother. He looks happy as he runs to his mother's arm, with Lady Roxy appreciates her dazzling beauty. Fate looks at her to ask something but is carried away by her pretty-looking face. He snaps back to reality when she asks him if anything is wrong. Fate replies by stating that they should head back home since it is getting late, and she agrees. Fate wishes that days like this would last forever, but he wonders if there is a way for him to hunt monsters without Roxy finding out, and Greed tells him it has an idea. He goes to the market to get a mask, which is aimed at making him look different to whoever sees him. Fate buys an ore and presents it to Lady Roxy as a gift for giving him a job, having meals, and having friends who he considers family. This makes Roxy insanely happy and she gladly accepts the present. She then asks him what he wants in return, probably a year's meat supply or a whetstone to sharpen his sword, but he insists on not getting anything back in return. This shocks Greed as it wants him to get the whetstone so he can take care of it. Meanwhile, the Vledric family and Holy Knight assemble together to discuss their excursion to Gallia. What an exciting episode! Thanks for watching, and we're so glad you're enjoying the show. The Vledric family's Holy Knight excursion to Gallia is sure to be a thrilling adventure. Make sure to leave your comments and feedback below, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates. We can't wait to see what you think of the next episode. See you then.